It's a normal morning in Canada. Cereal bowl out, coffee brewing, and milk is the first thing you reach for. Here's the milk problem. The milk aisle is not just milk anymore. Some cartons are real milk. Some are milk beverages. Some are coffee whiteners that look like milk but are built more like a sweet add-on. The front label is built for speed, not clarity. So, the fastest truth is on the back. In Canada, ingredients are listed from most to least by weight. That one rule exposes what you are pouring. And right now, it is even more confusing because Canada updated vitamin D fortification rules for milk with industry changes due by the 31st of December 2025. So the same word on the front can mean slightly different labels during this transition. Also, if you have seen scary headlines, here's the calm part. CFIA testing of retail pasteurized milk for HPAI reported all samples negative in Canada-wide testing. In this video, you will get 10 milk aisle products to skip and 3 smarter picks that make label reading easy. Subscribe for more Canada Grocery Decode videos and comment the milk brand you usually buy. Stick till the end because I'll show you the fastest way to spot a good milk in 10 seconds so you never get fooled again. Brand 10 Lactantia. This looks like a premium milk upgrade, but the ingredient list shows it is closer to a formulated chocolate drink. The ingredients include partly skimmed milk, ultra-filtered skim milk, water, sugar, cocoa, salt, carrageenan, and sodium phosphate, plus flavor and vitamins. That one word, water, is the first red flag, because it means you are not paying only for milk. The second red flag is the stabilizer stack. Carrageenan and sodium phosphate are used in foods as stabilizing or thickening agents, which helps keep the drink smooth and consistent. None of this is automatically bad. It just means the product is designed, not simple. Here is the everyday impact. Chocolate milk is easy to drink fast, especially when it is smooth and sweet. This one has sugar listed as an ingredient, so the sweetness is built into every glass. If the goal is a basic milk routine for cereal, tea, or a quick glass, this can quietly push the habit towards sweetened milk instead of plain milk. For many people, that simply means more sweet taste in the day and less interest in plain options. It can also make label comparing harder because the front says ultra pure and high protein, while the back reads like a longer recipe. Health Canada gives you a simple rule to decode this. Ingredients must be listed from most to least by weight. So when water appears before sugar and stabilizers show up after cocoa, you know the bottle is built for texture and consistency, not minimal ingredients. That is why it belongs in the skip list for this video. In the aisle, pick a carton where the ingredients are just milk and vitamins, and treat chocolate drinks like an occasional treat. Brand 9 Naturel. Treating chocolate drinks as an occasional treat keeps the milk routine simple. Now the next aisle trap is a premium carton that looks like regular milk, but the label shows it is a processed blend. Natural plus 2% is marketed as a higher protein milk. But the ingredient list includes ultra-filtered partly skimmed milk, then water, then lactase, plus vitamin A palmitate and vitamin D3. That one word, water, is the unique disadvantage here. It signals you are not paying only for milk. You are paying for a formula designed around ultrafiltration and lactose reduction, then adjusted with water and enzymes. This matters because most shoppers grab it for one reason. They want a better version of everyday milk. But the carton is not meant to be just everyday milk. It is positioned to deliver more protein per serving and a different experience in coffee, cereal, or a glass. So the everyday impact is not fear. It is expectations and value. A premium price can feel less worth it if the ingredient list shows added water, especially when the goal was simply milk for tea and breakfast. Some people also notice a slightly different mouthfeel in higher protein milks, which can change how coffee tastes or how cereal feels. There is also a second clarity point. The presence of lactase means this is a lactose-reduced product. Canada's dairy labeling guidance explains lactase is added to some dairy products to reduce lactose, and it must be declared when used. So if lactose-free is not your goal, this carton can be an unnecessary upgrade. And if lactose-free is your goal, the label still needs to justify the premium. Canada makes the decoding rules simple. Ingredients are listed from most to least by weight. So, when water appears before lactase and vitamins, it is a real part of what you are buying. So, if the carton says premium or high protein, flip to the ingredients and skip any milk where water is an ingredient unless you specifically want that formula. Brand 8 Nielsen. That ingredient scan for water helps you spot premium formulas fast. The next label scan is even simpler. Look for sweeteners that do not belong in a milk routine. Nielsen 2% ultra-filtered chocolate, partly skimmed milk is on this avoid list because it uses sucralose and acesulfame potassium. Those are non-sugar sweeteners, added to keep the drink tasting very sweet without relying only on sugar. The ingredient list shows ultra-filtered, partly skimmed milk, cocoa, salt, carrageenan, natural flavor, then sucralose and acesulfame potassium plus vitamins. Here is the everyday impact in plain terms. A chocolate milk with high-intensity sweeteners can train your taste buds to expect that strong, sweet taste every time you drink milk. Then plain milk starts tasting boring. That pushes your routine toward flavored drinks more often than you planned. Canada's Food Guide also explains that sugar substitutes are not needed for healthy eating, and that foods and drinks sweetened with sugar substitutes still taste sweet, which can lead to a preference for sweet foods. So the issue is not that these sweeteners exist. The issue is turning milk into a daily sweet craving loop. This is also a clarity lesson for the aisle. Health Canada has approved several sugar substitutes for use in Canada, including acesulfame, potassium, and sucralose. That means the ingredient is permitted. But permitted does not mean it is the best default for a product you drink often. When the goal is breakfast milk, tea milk, or a quick glass at home, the smarter move is choosing the simplest label you can. Brand 7 Beatrice. Leaving milk drinks with sucralose for occasional treats is a smart move. Now the next label trap is not sweeteners. It is color and flavor add-ons, hiding inside something that looks like a simple milk drink. Beatrice chocolate milk makes this avoid list for one unique reason. It contains the food color amaranth along with natural flavor and artificial flavor. That is not a scandal. Amaranth is a permitted food color in Canada under specific conditions. The issue is expectations. Most shoppers buy milk because it feels like one of the cleanest items in the cart. Then chocolate milk feels like milk plus cocoa. But this label reads more like a formula. Here's what the ingredients show. Partly skimmed milk, then sugar, then cocoa, salt, carrageenan, natural flavor, artificial flavor, and amaranth. In Canada, ingredients are listed from most to least by weight. So this is not a cocoa-first product. It is a sweetened milk drink, then thickened for texture, then adjusted for flavor, then colored for appearance. The color makes the drink look richer and more chocolatey, even when cocoa is not doing all the work. Flavors make it taste consistent every time. Texture agents keep it smooth so it goes down fast. That combination can make the bottle easier to finish without thinking. And if this becomes the default, plain milk can start tasting boring. This is not fear-mongering. It is a value check. If you are buying milk for daily cereal, tea, or coffee, the smarter default is the carton with the shortest ingredient list. Chocolate milk can stay a treat without needing added color and both natural and artificial flavors. In the aisle, skip chocolate milk that includes added color like amaranth and pick a simpler label that is just milk, cocoa, and a clear sweetener if you want it. Brand 6 Sealtist. Keeping sweeteners out of milk is a strong upgrade. The next label trap is when a milk drink uses added colors to look richer than it really is. Sealtist 1% chocolate milk makes this avoid list for one unique reason. It includes the color Allura Red and caramel color, along with artificial flavor. Here is what that means in plain terms. Most people expect chocolate milk to be milk, cocoa, and maybe sugar, but this ingredient list reads like a formula. It starts with partly skimmed milk, then sugar, then cocoa, then salt, then artificial flavor, then carrageenan, then Allura Red, then caramel, plus vitamins. Canada gives you a simple decoding rule. Ingredients are listed from most to least by weight. So this is a sweetened milk drink first, then adjusted for texture and taste, then adjusted for color. The everyday impact is not fear. It is habit and expectations. Color can make the drink look more chocolatey even when cocoa is not doing all the work. Artificial flavor can make it taste consistent every time, so it goes down fast. Carrageenan helps keep the texture smooth, which also makes it easy to finish without thinking. If this becomes your default, plain milk can start tasting boring, and the routine shifts toward flavored milk more often than planned. Allura Red is an authorized food color in Canada under specific conditions, which means it is allowed. But allowed does not mean it needs to be in a milk drink you buy often. If the goal is a simple milk for cereal, tea, or coffee, The smarter default is the carton with the shortest list. So in the milk aisle, skip chocolate milk that lists Allura Red or broad color additions and choose the simplest label you can find. Brand 5, Dairyland. Choosing a chocolate milk without added colors is a great start. The next aisle trap is when the carton quietly tells you it is not really milk at all. Dairyland 1%. Chocolate milk beverage is on this avoid list because the product itself is labeled as a milk beverage, and the ingredient list shows a more engineered formula than most shoppers expect. The label starts with milk ingredients, then sugars, written as sugar, glucose, fructose, then cocoa. That sugars line is a signal that sweetness is doing the heavy lifting in taste. And it is not just one sweetener, it is a blend. In Canada, ingredients are listed from most to least by weight, so that order matters. Then comes the texture and stability stack. The list includes modified cornstarch, carrageenan, guar gum, and dipotassium phosphate. These kinds of ingredients are used to keep a drink smooth and consistent, especially in flavored dairy beverages. That consistency is exactly what makes it easy to drink quickly without thinking. A smooth, sweet milk beverage can become an automatic grab after school, after the gym, or with breakfast. Retail nutrition panels for this product format show around 25 grams sugars per cup, serving, and 170 milligrams sodium. That does not make it dangerous. It just makes it a product to treat as an occasional sweet drink, not the default milk for daily cereal and coffee. This is the core lesson for the milk aisle trap video. When the carton says milk beverage, read it like a recipe, not like milk. If the goal is everyday milk, the smartest cart choice is usually the one with the shortest ingredient list. In the aisle, skip cartons labeled milk beverage and choose plain milk, where the ingredients are simply milk plus vitamins. Brand 4, Milk 2, Go. Choosing plain milk for daily use keeps the routine simple. The next trap is a bottle that says reduced sugar but still builds the flavor around sweetness. Milk 2 Go Reduced Sugar Chocolate Milk Beverage sounds like the smarter option in the cooler, but the ingredient list shows a different story. It includes partly skimmed milk, then sugar, then cornstarch, cocoa, and corn dextrin. It also includes carrageenan, artificial flavor, disodium phosphate, and stevia extract. The unique disadvantage here is the 2 sweeteners plus texture stack. Sugar is still in the recipe. Then stevia extract is added to keep the drink tasting sweet even when the sugar is reduced. At the same time, cornstarch and carrageenan help keep the drink thick, smooth, and consistent. That smooth texture makes it easy to finish quickly, like a treat drink, not like plain milk. The everyday impact is simple. A sweet milk bottle can become an automatic grab after school, after work, or between meals. It can also make regular milk taste boring, because your tongue gets used to the stronger, sweet taste. Canada's food guide is clear that sugar substitutes are not needed to reduce sugars. It also warns that sweet-tasting foods and drinks can keep a preference for sweet flavors. In Canada, ingredients are listed from most to least by weight, so when sugar appears near the top, it is doing real work in the formula, even with a reduced sugar claim. That is why this bottle belongs in the avoid list for a milk aisle trap video. So, if a milk drink uses both sugar and a sweetener like stevia, treat it like an occasional treat and buy plain milk for daily use. Brand 3, International Delight. Keeping sweet milk bottles as an occasional treat is a smart move. Now the next place to look is what goes into coffee, because that is where milk gets replaced quietly. International Delight Classic French Vanilla sits in the dairy case and feels like a milk substitute. But the ingredient list shows it is a sweetened creamer formula, not milk. The first ingredients are water, sugar, and palm oil. That means the biggest part of the bottle is not dairy. It is a sweetened oil-style base designed to taste smooth. Here is the unique disadvantage. Many shoppers assume creamer means milk and cream, but this one also contains sodium caseinate, which is a milk derivative, so it can still be an issue for anyone trying to avoid milk ingredients. The label even calls this out by listing sodium caseinate with milk in parentheses. Canada makes this easy to decode. Ingredients are listed from most to least by weight. So when water and sugar show up first, the bottle is telling you what it really is. The everyday impact is simple. Creamer is easy to pour without measuring. 1 splash becomes 2. Then the morning coffee turns into a steady source of added sugar without feeling like a sweet drink. Canada's food guide is clear that sugary drinks should not be consumed regularly. and that replacing sugary drinks with water helps reduce the amount of sugars you drink. So the goal is not panic. The goal is noticing when your milk and coffee is actually a sweetened add-on that can stack up across the week. Choosing plain milk instead of a creamer is the cleanest upgrade. The next label trap is when a bottle looks like a simple coffee add-on, but it is built like a sweetened oil formula. Coffee-made French vanilla starts with water. Then it lists sugars as a grouped ingredient, shown as corn syrup, solids, and maltodextrin. After that comes high oleic soy oil. So the base is not milk or cream. It is water, sugars, and oil designed to taste smooth in coffee. Here is the unique disadvantage. This product stacks both added sugars and sweeteners in the same bottle. The ingredient list includes sucralose and acesulfame, potassium near the end. So even when the pour is small, the flavor is engineered to stay very sweet. That can slowly train your coffee to feel incomplete without the same sweet vanilla hit. Then regular milk starts tasting boring. There is also a clarity problem for shoppers avoiding dairy. The ingredients include modified milk ingredients, so it is not a clean non-dairy swap, even though people often treat creamers that way. Canada gives you the decoding rule for free. Ingredients are listed from most to least by weight. So when the first lines are water, sugars, and soy oil, the bottle is telling you what it really is. Canada's food guide also gives the category guidance. Sugary drinks should not be consumed regularly. A coffee creamer is not a drink on its own, but it can turn coffee into one if it is used daily without measuring. That is why this belongs in the skip list for a milk aisle trap video. Brand 1 complements coffee whitener powder. Starting with the coffee cup is the easiest way to spot the milk aisle trap. Complements coffee whitener looks like a simple milk replacement. But the ingredient list shows it is a sweetened, oil-based whitener and not milk. The first ingredient is sugars, listed as glucose solids. The second ingredient is coconut oil. Then comes sodium caseinate, milk. So the base is sugar plus oil with a milk-derived protein added for creaminess. That is the unique disadvantage here. It can look dairy-free by vibe, but the label clearly shows milk in the ingredients. So it is not a safe shortcut for shoppers avoiding milk ingredients. Now, the everyday impact. Powder is easy to use without measuring. 1 spoon becomes 2. Coffee starts tasting right only when it is sweet and creamy. That can turn a normal coffee habit into a daily added sugar habit without feeling like a sweet drink. Canada's food guide warns that sugary drinks should not be consumed regularly, and replacing sugary drinks with water helps reduce the amount of sugars you drink. A whitener is not a drink on its own, but it can make your coffee behave like one if the first ingredient is sugar and the pour is automatic. Canada also gives you the fastest decoding rule. Ingredients are listed from most to least by weight. So, when sugars and coconut oil appear before anything dairy, the label is telling you what is doing the heavy lifting. If the goal is milk for coffee, the smarter default is simple. Choose plain milk or cream with a short label. Keep sweetened whiteners for occasional use, not as the everyday base. So, if ingredient 1 is sugar, skip it and use plain milk or unsweetened cream instead. Most of the brands till now followed one pattern. The front looked like milk, but the back label showed sugar first, oils, sweeteners, colors, or a long stabilizer list that belongs in a dessert-style drink. A few were not even milk products at all. They were creamers and whiteners that turned coffee into a daily sweet habit without feeling like one. The fix is not panic. It is flipping the carton and trusting the boring label, because ingredients in Canada are listed from most to least by weight. Now let's pivot into the smarter picks. These are easy to trust because the ingredient list is short and the job is clear. Safer pick 1. Organic Meadow 2% milk. This is a clean default when you want real milk with no tricks. Their product page lists the ingredients as organic partly skimmed milk, vitamin A, palmitate, and vitamin D3. That is it. No sweeteners, no oils, no stabilizer stack. This pick also gives you a simple certification cue. If you see the Canada Organic logo, CFIA says it is only permitted on products that have been certified to the requirements of the Canada Organic regime. So when you want a faster trust signal, organic plus a short ingredient list is a strong combo. Safer pick 2, Avalon Organic Whole Milk. This is a great option if you want a simple label and a local style brand that is easy to spot in the aisle. Canadian retailer listings show the ingredients as organic milk and vitamin D3. That is a short list that behaves like real milk in cereal, tea, and cooking. This pick is also useful for people who keep getting pulled into flavored milks. A plain whole milk option makes it easier to keep chocolate and coffee add-ons as occasional choices instead of a daily routine. And again, when a product uses the Canada Organic logo, CFIA links that logo to certification under the Canada Organic regime, which is a practical aisle shortcut. Say for pick 3, Island Farms 2% partly skimmed milk. Island Farms 2% is the pick for shoppers who just want normal milk with a normal label. Their product page lists the ingredients as partly skimmed milk, vitamin A palmitate, and vitamin D3. That is exactly what a boring milk label should look like. This is also the easiest swap when the household is stuck in the milk beverage lane. If the goal is milk for breakfast and tea, choosing a carton that is just milk plus vitamins makes the routine feel simple again. Then, chocolate milk and creamers stop being the default and go back to being occasional. Let's talk about the 10-second buying rules. If it says milk beverage, coffee creamer, or coffee whitener, treat it as an add-on, not milk. If sugar or an oil shows up near the top, it belongs in the sweet lane, not the milk lane. If you want a quick certification cue, look for the Canada Organic logo and keep the ingredient list short. That is the whole video. If this helped, subscribe for more educational supermarket product breakdowns and drop a comment with what you want investigated next. Thanks for watching. Stay informed, stay protected, and spend smarter.